Well, alrighty. I think we've got some early spring practice thoughts. I'm curious to see like how we're doing because I think we're doing just fine. But how are you guys feeling about it so far?
I
Everything
mean,
I'm
I
hearing is
feel
pretty
like
good. Go ahead.
Kane Womack seems pretty positive, and I mean, seems like everybody's high on Keelan Russell so far. And I mean, if he pans out and the defense pans out and the offensive line gets better, then we're going to be in a lot better shape next season. But if one of those things doesn't work out, then we're going to have some problems. But so far in spring practice, they seem positive, and the little bit of footage that we've got, it looks good. But it's just so early. It's almost impossible to really gauge. But I think the early thoughts is that it's overly positive so far.
Well, what I'm gonna say, Jack, is when we go down there and watch, and when I see what's going on, I'll be definitely able to bring something to the table with with regard to that. I mean, we're listening to what other people are saying and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, and they're always going to gloss it over, and everything's great, that kind of stuff. When I get down there and see what's going on, which will be in the next couple of weeks, we get down there, then I'll bring something to the table with regard to that. But
Yeah, it's a
I'll be
lot better to get the live footage and just hear them say it. Because yeah, I mean,
yeah,
like they could be
exactly.
horrible and like, oh, well, we're doing great because they
Yeah,
can't
they're
tell
just going to
anybody they're
gloss it
doing bad.
over, and it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see the quarterback position, and evidently, I'm gonna be honest with you. Evidently, if you no quarterback transferred in portal, they didn't encourage that. So evidently, one of two things: they're pleased with Ty Simpson or Austin Mack, or they think Keelan. So we'll see when we get down there a little bit with regard to where they're headed with regard to the quarterback position, which is should be a key. But the good thing for Alabama is, I mean, they got two running backs, and if they'll just unlike last year, just get a little more dynamic with the running game. Do some traps, counter trays, and I'm so tired of this RPO crap. I'm so tired of it. I mean, the defense is adapted to it. I mean,
Yeah,
defense
you
always
wouldn't
over.
like the mesh. You've seen the mesh thing Wake Forest does, right? Or they were
Yeah,
doing. That's the worst, where they're just like holding it and they're going in, and then he finally pulls back and throws. It's
pull
like,
the
what are you doing? It looks so dumb. Yeah.
defenses always adapt and they always overcome. And like the speed, back in the '90s, not '90s, but 2000s with Auburn, everybody's running hurry up with miles on and that kind of stuff. Defense, we got some more fast twitch, whatever, and then the substitution rules. And so now the RPO then took over, and defenses have learned to come up and just close it down, boom, just like that. So there's going to have to be a new paradigm shift with regard to what teams are doing on offense, and we'll see what it is. But it'll be interesting. And so for Alabama, I'd like to get down there and see where they're going with the quarterback position.
There we go. And we'll learn a little more as well when the spring game comes out on April 12th. Although it won't be televised, but we get to see it behind the scenes. So we get to
Yeah.
see what everybody else won't see. So that's fun, right? So it's
Mm.
like,
It
there you
should be
go.
televised, but it is what it
Yeah.
is.
Well, I mean, ESPN. I mean, it's like they're like because like they're not going to have the Alabama spring game, so they're probably going to have to air pickleball because they don't like MLB a whole lot.
Mm.
So
It's going to be interesting how much longer that spring game lasts. I mean, this if I, it would the spring game will stay if they cut out the May portal.
I
Because a lot of
agree.
these kids are using the spring, whatever, they're busting their little butts and all that kind of stuff, okay, to generate value for themselves so they can just boom, May portal, whatever. So
Mm.
if they drop the May portal, then spring game will stay. But if they keep the May portal, coaches, screw it.
The other thing is
Shut it
too is
down.
it
Be
can be the
private.
opposite effect as well, where like again, like maybe you're a guy that thinks you're going to play, and then in the spring game you're like on the third team. You're not with the starters at all, and you're like, yeah, this is where I'm going to be. So I'm going to transfer and go where I'm going to play. So like you wouldn't have that if the spring game was gone because of the fact that that guy, maybe if the coach knows how to work, the teams out, the first team, second team, third team, where that player thinks he has a shot. Now, you don't want to give a player false hope, but it's like once a player knows he's not going to be starting or getting any playing time, then now in this portal era, they're going to bolt unless they love the program so much that they'll stay.
Well, then back in the old days, the bottom line was in the old days, if you transferred, you sat out a year. Mm-hmm. That's why nobody transferred. And so now we've given all the power to the players, and it's become insane. And
And the other thing is that in the old days as well, with that rule, it's like they didn't want to transfer, but also it's like it made them want to work harder to overcome the odds so they could play. Like maybe, exactly. I'm not good enough right now to start on this team, but if I put in the work, eventually I will. That's why you would see so many guys like in Alabama's case, like Jake Coker, who never started, never played until his final year. He got his 1 year of fame at Alabama's starting quarterback and led it to a title. Derrick Henry was a big help, but that was great for him. But in today's era, he wouldn't have stayed. He would have transferred like everybody else. And I don't blame these guys for doing that, but it doesn't incentivize guys to work harder to become a starter, to be eventually in their final year, be that guy. It's like, I have to transfer now so I'll play or I'm never going to play. That's not a good mindset because, again, having adversity and not being out there, it makes you want to work harder so you will be. But that's gone.
Yeah, you're right. I agree.
But yeah, it will be pretty fun to see where the quarterback situation is looking like a little bit after the modified spring game. But I think we'll know more about who's going to be the starter by the time it gets close to the end of fall camp. Mm-hmm. So that is what we'll know by then.
Absolutely.
But we have a new member for Alabama with the Voice College Football. Decided to be a little generous. And it chose Matthew Miller, the Texas host for Texas at the Voice College Football. Congratulations. You're now a YouTube member of Alabama with the Voice College Football, Matthew Miller. And the Godfather of the SEC, one of our OG YouTube members, gives out a heartwarming welcome.
I asked the Godfather, is he from Jasper?
I think so, but I think we did talk about that in a past episode. But
well, I've forgotten. That's early Alzheimer's.
I mean, it was earlier this year, but I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
We all forget stuff.
We had our guy from Jasper. Jeffrey, you familiar with Jasper, Alabama?
I've seen it before on the map.
Yeah. Well, hey, Jeffrey, it's near Fayette, Alabama. So anyway, I've been doing some ACT and all this other kind of stuff, work down around Jasper in Alabama. And so anyway, I was trying to remember who it was that was commenting from Jasper.
Yeah, it probably was somebody. I don't know on that one, but I'm sure we'll figure it out eventually.
Giving you a little so you out in the woods with regard to it, but yeah, because Jack and I had been talking. The guy from Jasper, was that the Godfather? So anyway, because the guy from Jasper used to comment. Anyway, we're all from the same neck of the woods.
There we go.
So I'm the outlier.
There you go.
Well, but I did have family that was from that neck of the woods, so that's where my Alabama comes from.
Sweet home Alabama.
Yep.
Roll Tide, roll.
Bring it.